For this assignment, what I actually want to talk about as far as a significant experience of art actually was a musical experience that I witnessed. And it wasn't actually in a Sunday morning corporate worship gathering. It was actually in a concert that was given. So I hope I'm I hope I'm not cheating or getting outside of the bounds of this assignment by sharing this, but I'm just going to go there. So this was actually a concert that was a worship concert that Fernando Ortega actually conducted here at First Pres in the sanctuary the first year I was here. Fernando Ortega went through a whole bunch of hymns that were just beautiful. And then at the very end of the night, he just sang his version of Give Me Jesus. And if you've heard that version, it's very simple, but it's very profound. And I actually would say that the reason it was profound for me in that evening was that it got back to the core, the big idea of what we are all about. Give me Jesus. And so the first three questions here, it says that said exactly what I've always wanted to say. So I'm a piano player. I'm also a Fernando Ortega fan, but it's a bit of a desire of mine to, whenever I'm playing or leading worship, is that I would simply do it in such a way to where people are led to Jesus. As worship leaders, that's what we always hope to accomplish. And Fernando just did it so well that night. He did it in a non-flashy way, but he did it in a powerful way. And that was an amazing thing to see his musicianship and his humble heart for the Lord come together. So that said exactly what I've always wanted to say. Also, that expressed my emotional state perfectly. That particular night really was key for me because I think stepping into full-time ministry, sometimes as pastors or as worship leaders, we make big mountains out of molehills, or we can find ourselves maximizing on the minute. And that night was just really good for me to be reminded once again of what this whole experience of worship is about. And Fernando brought me to that place. And then finally, here it says, that made me want to live a different way. I think from that moment on, whenever I would approach either Sunday morning worship or even would find myself playing a particular role, either as a soloist or as a person who's bringing special music into corporate worship, I just desire now to get back to the basics and to capitalize on those things rather than get all caught up in all the technology and all the things that are important but that don't need to become the main dish whenever we come up to the table of worship. So the medium was simple. It was just him and a piano in a concert setting. What was the specific context for the work? The work was in the context of a concert setting. But personally, in my own context, I think it just hit me where I was personally, spiritually, but also vocationally. That was key for me. And then what role did it have in the order of worship? Again, I'm cheating a little bit, so there wasn't an order. Well, there was a liturgy in the concert, so I guess I could say that since it was the last song, I think that the role that it had was simply to get everybody in the room back on the linchpin of this whole thing, and that's what Fernando Ortega brought us to. And it was a context of worship. So in what ways was it accessible or difficult for the congregation? Boy, it was just so accessible for everybody to either sing along with or just to experience him singing it to them. The experience of God in the room, the presence of the Lord, I felt like was just so very tangible. So that's what I wanted to bring here.